You're watching ShotokuTech, Saturday Story Time, 10 October 2020 edition. Northrop Grumman launched their Antares rocket. It had the Cygnus spacecraft on board, en route to the International Space Station. And they were carrying radish seeds, meats, cheeses, and other groceries for the crew. This is a 4-ton, an 8,000-pound or 3,600-kilogram shipment. It also included pressurized air tanks to help offset the leak at the space station, and the new $23 million titanium toilet with the custom fit for women. It includes a 360-degree camera for spectacular views of spacewalks. There's more fresh food than usual because the crew is going to expand from 6 to 7 with the SpaceX second astronaut launch due on October 31st. They requested prosciutto, Genoa salami, smoked Gouda, provolone, brie, cherry tomatoes, oranges, pecans, and chocolate-covered cranberries. And it's in plenty of time for Thanksgiving. They're also hoping to harvest radishes from the seeds that have been sent. Soon, larger plants like peppers and tomatoes will follow. And the new toilet will be tested side by side with the two larger old-style Russian-built commodes that are already up there. This Cygnus spacecraft was named SS Kalpana Chawla after the first Indian-born woman in space. Chawla was among the 7 astronauts killed in the 2003 Space Shuttle Columbia accident. John McAfee is an interesting and storied character. You should spend some time researching his nefarious history. You know, of course, we know McAfee as the antivirus or the cybersecurity firm. Well, he's just been arrested on federal charges of tax evasion. He's also wanted for questioning in Belize over the murder of a fellow American. And he was arrested in Spain and is awaiting extradition on these tax evasion charges, stating that he failed to file tax returns from 2014 to 2018. The indictment does not clarify if McAfee had received any income from his antivirus company during the time frame. He's earned his fortune from speaking engagements, consulting work, promoting cryptocurrencies, as well as selling the rights to his life story. He attempted to evade the IRS by concealing assets, including real property, a vehicle, and a yacht in the names of others. This is some pretty steep jail time. The Securities and Exchange Commission is also looking to sue him over a claim that he made over $23 million in undisclosed compensation from recommending 7 cryptocurrency offerings on Twitter that were materially false and misleading. All right, well, good luck. Like I say, he has an interesting and storied history. Singapore's Prime Minister has filed a defamation lawsuit against a blogger. I guess you have to be careful what you post on Facebook. It's interesting because this citizen of Singapore just posted an article on Facebook. And the Prime Minister isn't suing the news organization that published the article. He's suing the person that put it on Facebook. Critics say the case is the latest example of tightly regulated city-state government being heavy-handed and seeking to silence dissent online. The article links the Prime Minister with an investigation in Malaysia over the 1MDB fund. Billions of dollars were looted from the investment vehicle in a scandal that involved Malaysia's former leader Najib Razak and his inner circle. Lee said he's suffered damage to his own reputation. Leong's lawyer said the libel suit is unnecessary as authorities have denied the allegations, and he's picking on the defendant when there are many others who have shared the defamatory article. Singapore's leaders are sensitive to allegations of graft, but rights groups frequently accuse them of resorting to tough laws to silence criticism. Well, you do have to love those scientists, and a team of scientists led by Washington State University geobiologist Dirk Schultz-McCook has identified 24 exoplanets that could be more favorable to life than Earth. Out of more than 4,000 exoplanets found so far, a number have been deemed habitable. It doesn't mean a planet where you can just move in and take over. It means it's a rocky planet in the right orbital region around a star where the temperature is moderate enough for liquid water to exist. That's a pretty generous definition. The Earth is habitable under these criteria, but so are Venus and Mars, which are scarcely garden spots. So they've refined the research by going through this database of Kepler Object of Interest Exoplanet Archive of transiting exoplanets, and they were selected because they have properties that might make them better able to sustain life. So our Sun is a G-type star that only lasts between 8 and 10 billion years, and they're proposing that a K-type dwarf star would have a lifespan of up to 70 billion years, allowing for a much longer time for life to emerge and develop. Another factor is the size and the mass of the planet. And a planet that's 1 times as massive as Earth might make your butt look bigger. I'm just kidding. According to the team, if a planet is 10% larger, it would have more surface area to live on. Its interior would retain more heat from radioactive decay and would remain active longer and hold on to its atmosphere for a longer time. If a world was 5 degrees centigrade warmer than Earth and had more water, it would enjoy the biodiversity of rainforest over much of the planet. The team says none of the 24 planets found have all of these characteristics, but one has 4 of the critical factors. At any rate, all 24 could be the focus for later telescopic studies. It's difficult to convey this principle of super-habitable planets because we think we have the best planet, says Schultz McCook. We have a great number of complex and diverse life forms, many that can survive in extreme environments. It's good to have adaptable life, but it doesn't mean that we have the best of everything. Okay, well, keep looking up. Does this suit make my butt look big? Just kidding. Anyway, NASA is testing the first new spacesuit that they've developed in 40 years, and they're doing it underwater. This new suit is called the Exploration Extravehicular Mobility Unit, or XEMU, and it needs to protect the astronauts from the harsh lunar environment. It's a lot more dicey than what we've been experiencing in low Earth orbit on the International Space Station. A lot of progress of this suit's been overshadowed by the big ticket hardware such as rockets and spacecraft. But this represents the first new spacesuit that NASA has developed in over 40 years. And things are looking on schedule. They plan on building 5 of these XEMU suits in this initial batch. The first one is almost done and should be completed in December. A second unit will be built for qualification testing, and a third will be tested in orbit on the International Space Station. The final 2 suits will be used to walk on the moon in 2024 as part of the NASA mission called Artemis 3. Each Artemis astronaut will require an internal cooling garment. I think we could use that here in Arizona. That would be nice. Cool underwear. So they've completed this first prototype of that undergarment, and the agency needs to upgrade the backpack-light portable life support systems that the astronauts carry to stay alive. That's also in the works. So they're getting a good sense of how this new suit will perform on the moon by testing it underwater. Engineers can mimic different levels of gravity underwater, like low Earth's orbit, microgravity, and Moon's 1/6 gravity. And underwater, astronauts can get a feel for moving around in the suit. Hey, who you calling fat? Anyway, I guess during the lockdown, and if you're in Alaska, the most exciting thing you have to do is figure out which bear is the fattest. So there is an annual battle of the heavyweights, and the salmon-chomping Bruin named 747, like the jetliner, has emerged as the most fabulously fat bear in Alaska. So Alaska has 2,200 brown bears in Alaska's Katmai National Park and Preserve, and there was a week of frenzied online voting in what has become an international sensation, Fat Bear Week. The winner, 747, he's really packed on the pounds. He was fat enough to hibernate in July, yet he continued to eat until his belly seemed to drag along the ground by late September, the park said. Fat Bear Week pits 12 bears against each other in a playoff-style brackets. Bear fans compared photos and vote online for their favorites from last Wednesday to Tuesday night. Well, congratulations, 747. So NASA has learned a lot about this near-Earth asteroid Bennu, and the OSIRIS-REx spacecraft is getting ready to grab some soil from the surface of this asteroid on the 20th of October. This Bennu is basically a pile of rubble that's clotted together. It's the result of some collision of a larger asteroid. It's a space rock shaped like a spinning top, and it drifts somewhere between Earth and Mars as it orbits around the Sun. So OSIRIS-REx made this 27-month journey from Earth to chase Bennu, and it's been observing it for some time now. It's taking measurements and sizing Bennu up. It's performed many close flybys to get a high-resolution look at the surface and caught the asteroid unexpectedly spewing debris into space. So we've been piecing together this story. Where did it come from? What is it made of? Will it collide with the Earth? That's not likely. And so for this OSIRIS-REx, it's going to actually reach out with an arm and make contact with the surface and spray out some nitrogen gas and collect the debris that rises back up and then return to Earth. Here's an artist's representation of that activity, and that's going to happen on October 20th. Bennu is unflatteringly described as a rubble pile. It's about as wide as the Empire State Building is tall. And from a distance it looked really smooth, but when they got closer, they found out the surface is covered with boulders. They've been examining the types of boulders on Bennu's surface using thermal and infrared imagers, and they've determined that there's two types of boulders with similar mineral content, but different strength properties. The weaker boulders would burn up in Earth's atmosphere if they were to become meteorites. Comparing some of the properties to meteorites, chunks of space rock that we've found on Earth, helps reveal details about Bennu that are impossible to determine just from orbit. If they can connect Bennu to a specific meteorite or set of meteorites, then they can unlock a lot of new information. We might have a historical trace of this collision that created Bennu here on Earth. Another exciting find is these deposits of carbon-bearing material across Bennu's surface. It appears that these veins tell us about water in the very early solar system. Water flowed through these veins, depositing the carbonates. Bennu is believed to be part of a larger asteroid that roamed the solar system in its early days. The size of the veins suggests that the fluid system was large, possibly kilometers in size. That's depicted here. A map of Bennu highlighting carbon-bearing material spread over 98% of Bennu's surface. Blue corresponds with little absorption, and red shows higher absorption. Bennu has no atmosphere. It's entirely exposed to space. Space weather, micrometeorites, and solar wind have taken their toll, but the weathering of Bennu suggests something different about the asteroid. Over time, Bennu has become brighter and bluer in response to space weathering. The surface of Bennu is highly diverse in these wavelengths of light that it reflects. This hints at a chaotic collision between its parent body and another object. The collision likely spewed up material from deep within the parent body where different geological processes were occurring them, throwing them out into the void. Eventually, gravity pulled them together into the configuration that we see as Bennu today. Thank you for watching ShotokuTech Saturday Story Time. Look for the link in the description down below to this Blogspot article with all of the links to the stories we just talked about. Thank you and have a great week. Thank you for watching ShotokuTech. Please subscribe, comment, like, and share.